Back with more Heartstopper. This is episode 2 of season 3. Very excited to carry on. So what's going to happen next this series. Very, very good first episode, reintroducing everyone, establishing a few little dynamics, and setting the stage, I think, for some more like long-running conflicts this season. But also we kind of had, the episodic ones. I think Tao's kind of worries about, Elle maybe getting bored of him or dumping him. That seemed to be nicely addressed. Tara and Darcy had an interesting kind of conflict in terms of like personal space and stuff. So it'd be cool to follow through on that and see Darcy in a new environment if she moves in with her gran. So yeah, lots of interesting stuff going about, and I'm excited to see what's going to happen next. So let's just dive into the next one. I saw Hayley Atwell in person in 2016 at a convention. She's even more beautiful in real life, and I'm still not over it. It's been 8 years.
I love you.
Aww. Oh boy.
A good day then. It was fun.
Oh, that's the only thing you can think about now. Oh god.
He said that he was worried that Hey.
I think Tori kind of senses something's wrong with him as well.
I can't have a boyfriend because of schoolwork.
No, that's not what I said.
Mum, you're literally making a problem out of nothing.
I'm only saying this because I'm worried about him.
Well, he's on holiday for 3 weeks, so
You're worrying about the wrong
I've got nothing
things.
to worry about.
Can you please not undermine me like that in front of him?
You were being too harsh.
Yeah, you undermine Charlie. Goes both ways.
I was just talking to my boyfriend.
Your boyfriend? Well, we have a lot to catch up on, don't we?
Yay! I love these two.
Morning all.
Go away! Get out!
I'll be good. Not too good. Come in.
Oh, so sweet.
Good luck, you two. And remember, bad grades are the worst thing in the world.
I love Annette Badland. She's such a great actress. There is no surprise there. Oh no. I don't know what numbers mean. We had A, B, C, A stars and stuff.
I passed all my GCSEs.
Hey, that's fantastic! Congratulations!
Never
We're
in
not
doubt.
surprised, are we?
No.
We really need to meet Charlie.
You'll have to bring him around for Christmas because he needs family approval.
Or you could bring him on holiday next year.
Stop that you're imagining him here. Stop it. Oh god.
I thought we were all going to Nando's to celebrate results. That's like the only reason that I'm here.
Oh my god. I totally forgot.
Me and I were going to go to the park. No, all good. Another time. Yeah.
Isaac,
Bye.
I'll go with you. I know I don't exist in that world, but I'll give it a go. Oh. I pretend I do not see the problems and the troubles.
I am diagnosing you with a severe case of smitten. Growing symptoms of head over heels.
Well, I don't think that's a real thing, unfortunately.
Well, I am a qualified psychiatrist.
Do you ever treat people with eating disorders?
Sometimes.
Get
It's
some
not my
advice.
speciality.
Just curious.
You need a nice poster of a handsome boy up there. I'm a lesbian, Fran. You need a pretty girl up there, then. Perfect. Excellent work.
Oh.
He's scared I'm going to abandon him if he's not a good enough boyfriend. I mean, that pretty much sums it up.
Does have kind of low self-esteem, doesn't he? So, how can
Mood.
I make him feel more
Relatable
confident
king.
and relaxed?
Oh, poor Isaac. But he doesn't know Charlie's going through it either.
What's up?
I'm worried. I don't know. I love you.
Oh. Oh wow, that vibe changed really quickly.
What's my dad's?
Oh.
Sorry to be a downer.
No.
That's gonna come back in an emotionally devastating way, isn't it?
I wish I'd met him.
Oh, he would have loved you. He was so creative.
Stop! Oh.
Photography. He's really good at it as well. He'd always be taking photos of me. I'd hate it. I wish I'd sat still. And I wish I'd posed.
Can we not? Jesus, it's episode 2. Can't be crying in episode 2. Oh, the third wheel. I feel that, buddy. Oh, buddy.
I'm gonna head off actually, guys.
No! Isaac, please.
Don't leave. We love you.
It's
We
all good.
love you.
No, we'll do this another time. Have a good one. 5 minutes. Just 5 more minutes.
Oh, I feel so bad for him.
One of your friends is here.
What? Which one?
The one who's always reading.
But she doesn't know their names.
What's going on, Charlie?
I'm so glad more people are noticing.
You don't want to hang out with us anymore. And I'm just feeling a little bit left out, to be honest. I know.
I'm glad he's being honest. And he's been honest with Charlie like in the last episode, so this makes sense.
You can at least reply to my text, though.
I will. We can watch the Emma adaptation. Oh, you know that's my favourite.
I haven't seen that yet, actually. I want to watch it, Emma. Aww, this is sweet. I like how they're really playing with the passage of time this season. Like, it feels like they're doing like more in an episode almost.
Why do I have to get him? There's more chance he'll calm down if you ask.
Not untrue, I expect, but
Dad's done a roast. It'll be absolutely flavourless, but you have to do the roast.
Oh, I'm done now. What was that about my cooking skills?
invasion of privacy, yes, but oh god. I'm glad that Charlie is looking this stuff up as well. Oh, she's reaching out to Nick. It's just so sad, like Charlie has this huge circle of people who are so worried about him, but
Thank you.
he doesn't see it.
You've lost someone in the past and you're scared of it happening again.
Yeah.
I love you.
Wait, really?
Aww.
I'm clearly joking.
I love you too.
Oh, Charlie is breaking my heart, man. Oh.
I was just wondering if you've been eating okay.
Oh. Oh.
Charlie?
God, this is so hard to watch, man. Fuck.
Did you hear what I said?
Can't see the bloody screen. It's just silly.
I think you were right. Sorry. Charlie,
Don't apologise.
it's okay.
Charlie, you can't keep skipping dinner. You have to eat.
I don't feel well.
Come on, come downstairs. I'll get you some paracetamol.
Charlie,
That's not going to do it, I'm afraid.
let's go.
God, this is the scene, isn't it? It's the scene.
I can't force him to eat because then it would just make him more upset if I don't do anything. He'll just... I really love him. And I'm scared.
Oh, come here. You're a 16-year-old kid.
Yeah, it's a lot for a 16-year-old.
There's a lot to put on the shoulders of a 16-year-old.
Yeah.
I know that it feels like you are each other's whole world, but that dependency isn't healthy for anyone.
Yeah.
Love can't cure a mental illness.
So I just can't do anything.
No, I didn't say that.
How then?
Cheer him up when he's having one of his bad days.
Oh, Isaac.
Standing together, even when it's hard.
Oh wow.
Also knowing people need more support than one person can give. That's love, darling.
What? Do you remember when our problems were, oh no, Nick said yes to a date with Imogen? Oh, fucking hell. Episode 2 and I'm destroyed. Okay, that was an excellent episode. Again, very good. Very hard to watch. Very tough. But I love that Heartstopper doesn't shy away from going there. It's incredible balance how they approach stuff like this and tackle issues like eating disorders, and yet it still feels like a warm blanket of comfort and love. I don't know how they manage it. It's Alice's writing combined with the performances and the little graphics they put in, the music. It's a really, really special thing how that all comes together. But that was a tough watch. I think I'm actually quite glad I read the comics to prepare myself for this, because I think, it's still really, like, that was really tough to watch Child like that, but I think that would have knocked me like a truck if I was just completely unprepared for Charlie's eating disorder and like them going there. Considering how things kind of start, it's a bit more low stakes at the start. Season 1 now compared to this is like crazy. Very low stakes, and I guess as you get older, more often than not, sadly, your problems do get bigger. It's certainly been the case for me. And yeah, that a very tough watch, but so well done. Joe Locke is smashing it. Kit Connor's obviously smashing it as well. Everyone's just doing such a great job with this, and this is only episode 2, and I'm like, oh. So we still have another 6 episodes. I'm sure we're going to have like the rest of the group kind of finding out and being there for Charlie. Hopefully Charlie's seeking the help he needs, telling his parents. I like that we've seen like a gradual widening of the circle of people who are kind of noticing that Charlie's not himself. I think Nick was realising that. Tori, I think, clocked on quite quickly as well, and Isaac realised something was wrong. I think the others are still kind of a bit oblivious right now. Obviously Charlie's parents are aware that, I guess to them, I guess he's acting up because they don't understand what he's going through, and his mum still drives me a bit insane. But I just don't think you would anticipate your child going through something like this until it actually happens, and I don't think she's kind of fully aware of that yet. I think what's going to be really telling about Charlie's parents is how they act after they find out what's going on with Charlie, and hopefully he can open up to them. I can't imagine how difficult it must be to open up to someone about something like that. In Charlie's position, I'd be exactly the same. I know I would just be denying that anything was wrong. It's always the way. But yeah, to kind of see people kind of coming forward and reaching out to him and kind of saying like, look, I'm worried about you. I think that is the push that Charlie needs to kind of talk about it. And I'm glad that, we've gotten him to the point now where he realises, yes, something is wrong. And he can, be honest and upfront to Nick about that. So that was great. I loved Tori reaching out to Nick as well and kind of saying, when are you coming home? I'm worried. I loved her kind of approaching him, approaching Charlie and hugging him and everything, telling him that she was worried. I guess it's a moral grey area, isn't it, when she's like checking his laptop to see what he's looking at. But I guess in this circumstance, if you're that worried, it needs to happen. I do feel like it's in Tori's nature just kind of go in all guns blazing and, unapologetically kind of take drastic action like that. So they had like some really serious stuff with Tori going on in this, and I love that she's getting more screen time this season already compared to the first 2. And yet it can still balance it out with the comedy so well with her. You know, that line about like, what is it going to be? Like, talk about her dad's roast and like, it's going to be tasteless or something. It was just really funny, like deadpan delivery, but that just makes it all the more emotional, I think, where she does have these moments where she lets emotion shine through and shows this concern. Their relationship reminds me a lot of my relationship with my big sister. I don't know how she does it. She knows when I'm having a bad day, and like I wouldn't have even spoken to her, but before she's just called me, and she says like, I don't know why, but I just know you're kind of having a bad day. I don't know how she knows. Maybe it's just a big sister thing, but she's always been on the money with that kind of stuff. Maybe it helps that, you know, she works in medicine and stuff like that, but yeah, there's echoes of that, I think, in Tori and Chai's relationship, and I think that's why it kind of hits me in the feels as well. But yeah, it's just really tough to see Charlie going through that. You know, you just want to see him smile again. You know, he's got such a nice smile, so wholesome. And yeah, it's just kind of heartbreaking to see him go through this. And I loved what Nick's Aunt Diane was saying. You know, it's a lot to put on a 16-year-old, you know. And that's just dealing and trying to help someone who has, you know, an eating disorder, a mental disorder. So imagine the person with the disorder and how, you know, heavy that weight is on them when they're that young as well. Yeah, kind of crazy, but I felt there's so much to unpack with this one. Where do I even begin? I'm just getting all over the place, really. But yeah, everything with Nick and Charlie and them kind of being apart while Nick's in Menorca. You know, I think that's just kind of maybe escalated Charlie's deterioration a bit, because he hasn't had that, you know, beam of support that he did have, and someone that he knows has approached him saying, I'm worried. I guess that allows Charlie to have more of a obvious person to go to. But, you know, now that Tori's kind of helping and he's admitted it to himself that he's got something wrong, maybe he can kind of add more pillars of support. But at the end of the day, you know, Diane was right saying he just needs medical help, you know. I love the line, because it's obviously in the comics, that scene at the beach. You know, love can't cure a mental illness, and it's very true. You know, you do need to act on it and get professional help for it, therapy, treatments, medication, or, you know, all that kind of thing. And that was a lovely scene. I was gutted when I found out Olivia Coleman couldn't come back for season 3, because in the comic, that scene on the beach is between Nick and his mum. I think part of me will always mourn the universe who got that scene with Olivia Coleman in it. I think because she's been there since season 1, she's kind of been there for that journey of Nick and Chai together. I think that really would have hit harder. But, you know, there's nothing they can do about her not being available. You know, that's no one's fault. And I think kind of giving that role to like an aunt instead still works. And I think the idea of making her a psychiatrist was a great way of, you know, making the advice she was giving Nick not just feel forced. You know, I think maybe if it had been another character in that moment, it would have been like, you know, would you really know it in this much detail? Would you know that this is the advice you should be giving? But you can be assured of it when it's like a trained psychiatrist. So I think that's actually a very clever thing to kind of do with like the aunt role. And I do think, you know, I love Hayley Atwell as an actress. So to see her come into it is great. And, you know, just again, right from the off, unwaveringly supportive of Nick. I loved her reaction to finding out he had a boyfriend, you know, cheering him on when he got his GCSE results. All of that stuff is really nice and really well done. You know, I think Olivia's absence from the season is very apparent, but there's nothing you can kind of do about that, sadly. But that scene was still really good on the beach. And I like that Nick still has someone to open up to this season in regards to that, like an adult figure. Because, you know, the only other option would have been his brother, and his brother's a dick. So glad that doesn't have to be the case. So Aunt Diane's great. I really enjoyed her and, you know, her husband, partner, and their kids and stuff. Great little addition. Hopefully, I'm sure we'll see maybe a bit more of them this season. But yeah, it was really nice to have you know, a pillar of support for Charlie opening up, but also pillars of support for the people who need to support Charlie. You know, just this long line of support, basically, this long chain. So yeah, really hard to watch, really tough stuff with this story, and I'm sure it's only going to get more emotional from here. But yeah, I don't think I'm emotionally prepared for this, but we'll see what happens. We'll go there. I mean, even Tao made me cry this episode, for God's sake. So I'm just screwed. You know, him talking to Elle about his dad and the camera and stuff. That's going to come back. They aren't introducing that camera for no reason. I don't know what it is yet. I feel like they're going to have Tao follow in his father's footsteps, maybe, and maybe that's going to be like a career path for him. Maybe that's something he's going to explore and find his calling through. I'm not sure, but there's got to be a reason they introduced that. But yeah, it's so nice to see Tao talk to, you know, Elle about his dad and everything, and Elle saying, you know, she wish she could have met him. Yeah, just lovely stuff with those two again this time. You know, the continuation of Tao's lack of self-esteem, but I think he got what he needed in the end. You know, Elle kind of saying that she loved him. You know, I think that's a good kind of security and peace of mind for him, that, you know, they're going to be okay. This is like a serious thing. And I think Elle was definitely right in saying, you know, because he lost his dad and he knows what it's like to lose someone, he's going to have much more heightened anxiety of losing someone again. So I think he's just constantly worried about that. So I'm sure his father's death was unexpected. So I think he's preparing himself and trying to do everything he can to ensure that he doesn't lose anyone. But then that can be a bit too much for people. So I think Elle kind of brought him back down to earth in that moment, and you know, it just shows how well she understands him, that she knows exactly what he needs to hear in that moment. So yeah, great stuff with those two as well. I loved how this episode's kind of playing with time a bit. You know, we kind of just went through multiple weeks of Nick's holiday. You know, I think we normally just cover a much shorter period of time in these episodes. But I think they do speed things along time-wise quite a lot in like later volumes of the comic. So obviously, because we're adapting that now, they're playing up with the formula, I guess, a bit of exactly how the story is told and in the time frame. I think that again just shows how the characters in the show is maturing, because it's like, you know, you can fill in the gaps yourself. You don't need to see like every little detail as time moves forward. We just need to see the key moments. And you know, when the older you get, the quicker life just goes by. So I really like that they are kind of showing that, because you know, we're not just having like season 1 set in like a week or two, you know, a couple of months, but now like weeks go by just in one episode. It feels very true to kind of how time passes as you get older, and like at least how it feels. So that's quite a nice thing in terms of like presenting the story. Darcy's Nan, she seems quite nice, very supportive, so I'm hoping that'll be a nice place for Darcy to kind of ultimately live in. Again, we didn't get as much of that story in this one, but I'm sure the time will come to explore that properly. You know, I very much do feel like Charlie's story does need to be the focus and the centre of attention, and kind of the heart of the storytelling this season, and that's certainly where they're going so far. But you know, having some other little character details as well is nice. So yeah, that was great. Isaac, I feel awful for as well, because you know, it's never fun being the third wheel. I've been the fifth wheel before, so you know, it's not a great feeling. However, it kind of comes about. But yeah, that was, you know, I love that they're giving Isaac a lot more focus this season as well, and yeah, just the fact that him and Charlie have kind of built this rapport of being able to open up to each other a little bit, because he's worked out something's wrong with Charlie. He obviously talked to Charlie in the last episode about being asexual and stuff like that. So I do think it made sense that after he left Tao and Elle's, he went straight to Charlie to try to check on him and make sure that he was okay. And obviously Charlie hasn't given him the truth yet in the full story, and that will, I think, his behaviour will then just make a lot more sense to Isaac, with him not reading Isaac's messages and stuff. So, you know, that clarity I think is going to be important for everyone. because they know what they need to do to help Charlie in that moment, but they'll also feel a bit better about maybe feeling a bit left out and ignored. But I totally get where Isaac's coming from, and you know, especially because a lot of these relationships, like Tam and Elle, you know, it's still quite fresh and new, and it's in the honeymoon phase and stuff. They're going to be all over each other, so I can see that, you know, them unknowingly kind of casting Isaac a bit aside there at movie night. So, you know, my heart breaks for Isaac in that sense, and you know, he just wanted to go to Nando's. He just wanted to go to Nando's. That's all he wanted. So yeah, that's really sad as well. But you know, I think it's just this. I mean, Isaac even said, you know, the group's kind of a mess right now, and you know, it's not necessarily anyone's fault either. It's just like new relationships. I mean, you want to spend more time with that. It's home situations kind of isolating you a bit, so then you can't hang out with the group, and then maybe it doesn't quite feel the same if you all can't hang out at the same time. And you know, Nick's on holiday, and people made other plans, so they didn't go to Nando's, and you know, it's just this unfortunate series of events. There's a book series in that somewhere. That's just kind of spiraled, and it's not necessarily anyone's fault that it's kind of gone out of control, but I think it's going to be immensely satisfying when that all comes back together and it all starts to work out and run smoothly again. When Nick gets back, when they can get Chai the help that he needs. You know, I think Tao and Elle's kind of worked through, you know, the kind of self-doubt that Tao was having. So, you know, I think we're going to see things slowly heal. Things get worse before they get better. It's always the way, and I think we're definitely at the things are going quite badly wrong at the minute stage. So yeah, I feel awful for Isaac. That was very sad. Loved seeing Mr. Ajay, Mr. Farouk, however briefly. I hope we get more of them. If everyone's starting sixth form and stuff, I'm sure we'll see a bit more of them. But it's nice to know, you know, they're together and they're still, you know, very playful and stuff like that. That was great. Just a little bit of them kind of bringing out the best in each other, I think. Encouraging each other to have a bit of fun and be a bit lighthearted. So it was nice to kind of catch up with them and see that they're obviously doing okay. Very, very wholesome with those two. I'm trying to think if he's had any other kind of major side characters in this episode. I've probably just blanked on some stuff, but yeah, I think that's the main things I wanted to kind of cover and talk about. But yeah, this one really hurt, but in the best way. You still get that feeling everything's going to be alright, but it's so hard to see Charlie like that. And you know, when he was taking those pictures of himself and he sent one to Nick, but he just couldn't do it. I don't think he thought he looked very good in them, even though he's so sweet. You know, I'm also in that boat. I'll take like a picture for Instagram or something and be like, no, I look horrible, goodbye, and then just never post for 5 months. So yeah, I feel awful for basically everyone, but hopeful it will all work out okay. I'm glad that some problems are starting to be addressed and sorted, and I think the network of healing that needs to be built for everyone to kind of, you know, start feeling better about things is starting to be built. But yeah, it doesn't mean it's going to be easy. So yeah, it's really tough to watch, but I think the cast are absolutely smashing it. Obviously the writing's great. And I am excited for what comes next, which doesn't feel like the right word, but you know what I mean. I'm intrigued to find out what's coming next, I guess. So yeah, it will be interesting, and I think it's just gonna hurt like a motherfucker. It just is. You know, I think it's gonna be very much about trying to get the help that you need for Charlie. And here I am being like, oh yes, you know, that's exactly what you need to do, and I fucking need therapy. I haven't gone yet. There's a great song actually that I would encourage people to listen to. It's by Luke Westaway, who's this YouTuber I really like. He mostly does gaming, but on the side he does a few like songs. In one of his albums, he does like, I can't remember what the name of the genre is, but it's like when you like speak singing, he does songs like that. And what was the name of it? I think it's called Don't Wait Until 2016 to Try Therapy. I think that's the name of the song I'm talking about. It's about his experience with OCD and kind of going to therapy for that. But I highly recommend. I'll link it if I remember to. But yeah, the line at the end of that song has always stuck with me, and it's just "Don't be proud, be well." And I think Charlie's kind of starting to learn that in this episode, and will continue to learn it, and everyone's going to learn it, hopefully. I still need to learn that myself, but I'll hopefully get there in the end. But, you know, I actually think watching this is kind of giving me the push to be like, okay, yeah, I really should get on that. Yeah, so just another reason why this show's so wonderful and special, really, isn't it? But yeah, I do encourage people to give that a listen. And obviously, do reach out if you're struggling. I say not taking that advice myself, but I will. But yeah, I think that's everything I want to say about this episode. I've yammered on long enough. I told myself I wasn't really going to talk much after the episodes during these reactions, because YouTube tells me like people stop watching after the reaction, so why do I still talk for 20 minutes afterwards? I don't know. But yeah, I'm going to wrap it up there anyway. So yeah, amazing episode. I really like the tone of this season, how serious it is, but it's still maintaining like the magic of Heartstopper somehow. It's incredible that they're still keeping that up, but I'm really enjoying it. The cast is smashing it. Can't wait to see where the story's going to go next. And yeah, until my next reaction, thanks for watching.